Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Penovich here. Well, we had some big time storms in parts of the Piedmont. They were pretty isolated, but we've got the big Garth Brooks concert tonight, so I got to break down what to expect for that because a lot of folks freak out. Oh my gosh, it's going to rain out on the concert. Good news is probably not, and here's why. The good news is these storms started early today. Because they formed early, they're using up the fuel. They're likely going to be in and out before we see much of anything near Uptown. Now, it is almost 4 o'clock as of this recording, and there are some new storms developing down near the Pineville area over towards Carowinds and then back towards Steel Creek and going into areas around Lake Wiley. So this storm is actually going to clip Uptown. So for folks that are actually in Uptown tailgating early, you're probably going to see a passing shower. There is some cloud to ground lightning in this and some really heavy rain, but it's mainly along 485. Now this activity is all generally moving off to the south and east. I'd say roughly around 15 to 20 miles per hour. That's been kind of the general trend. So let's put a quick track on this storm right here, because the one we're watching is right here. This is the one that is most concerning, is this one right in here that we're going to be watching, because I think that's the one that has the biggest potential to produce some heavy rain in the next hour or so. So that's the one we got to watch right in here. This one is pushing basically due east at around 15 miles per hour. So it should be out of the Uptown area within the next, I'd say, 20 to 30 minutes or so, and then push off to the east fairly quickly. I'm going to turn on the satellite imagery briefly here just to show you that there is some clearing taking place back to the west. So this is really the only line that's going to move through. The fact that we haven't seen new storms develop back here is a good sign. So let's look at the short-range futurecast to see if we're going to see new storms develop through the evening hours. All right, so if we look at the short-range futurecast, you can see some pop-up storms at 5 o'clock. Let's go to 6 o'clock here. We'll go 1 hour out. There is another storm trying to develop north of town. That looks like it passes just north, and by 7 or 8 o'clock, it looks like another storm pushing east. So hopefully, these storms that are bubbled up early will eat up any fuel that these storms would have had to feed off of. But I do expect that these storms right now are helping us out because the futurecast probably not detecting. And if you go back and look, it doesn't have a really good handle on the storms that are going on right now. If I turn the current radar on, you could see it's not handling those very well. So this is likely the storm energy being used up right now, which should allow for most of the storms to be done with in the next hour or so. It doesn't mean we couldn't have some downpours during tailgating. Again, that's near Uptown right now. Let me show you a different radar. I'm going to show you two different scenarios here. So I've got the close-in radar, and there's Uptown. Not raining currently right now. Bank of America Stadium's dry, but you can see as you go down 77 towards York Road and towards Yorkmont, and then all the way back down to Lake Wiley, a pretty good cluster. There's some lightning in there, but again, nothing that's too over the top. I wouldn't too worried about these for severity. The first batch was definitely a stronger batch, but you see the movement off to the east. It is expanding north a little bit, so that's something to keep in mind. If you look at the northern edge of this, it is expanding towards Uptown. So don't be surprised if, at 3:50 here we are when I'm recording this, between 4 and 5, that we have a passing shower, maybe near Uptown. But the good news is I think when we look back to the west, I don't see any new development going on back into parts of York, Gaston, Lincoln, Cleveland, or even Catawba County. In fact, if you go in and closer, you see the showers that were trying to bubble up west of town. They look like they dissipated because they're moving into an environment where basically all the fuel was used up. So we'll keep a close eye on this, but right now, if you're worried about the Garth Brooks concert, bring your poncho for sure. But the good news is I think these storms popping up earlier used up any fuel and should save us from any major storms firing up over Uptown during the concert. Have fun, be safe, and enjoy the concert.